Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the post show for Preston North End versus Sheffield Wednesday, where today we will be talking about not just the match, but the fact that we have got a brand new manager who has experienced his first loss and his first sort of initiation to Sheffield Wednesday today. Tony Pulis.
Welcome, innit?
Yeah, I know. Welcome to the Wednesday way, mate. Starting off with a loss. So we will start as we always do, because they've just heard me talk for quite a while on the 2-hour live stream with the Dexterity Watch, which you can watch if you are watching this and you've somehow found this instead of Dexterity Watch. I watch all the matches live and we react live. But Punk, what were your thoughts, my friend, on that match that we have just witnessed?
I'm up until the red card, we looked pretty solid. And let's be fair, up until when they scored, we looked solid. The red card really changed it because we didn't have an outlet. And we got to get better with our discipline. And granted, when we were going through that, we were all thinking, that's not a red. Then you see the pictures. He literally high-booted him in the chest. And he's gonna wake up in the morning and go like, oh, look, darling, I've got lovely marks from Josh Windass. Do you like it? And it's gonna be one of those things where Pulis obviously already knows what's wrong. We've already been in a week. And it's what he decides to do next and where he takes the team. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who are flagging Westwood off already for the punch, flagging Pulis off. Pulis and Westwood, if you take them out of the equation, Westwood's not played a game since last November, and it's Pulis' first game in charge. He's not even had chance to bed himself down in the city. He hasn't even found himself a house yet. So he's still got that all to deal with. I think sometimes we forget that managers have actually got to find somewhere to live as well. So if he's still in a hotel, he's probably waiting for that person on the phone. Probably Lee Bullen's missus saying, I found you a lovely house. It's got a lovely garden. Here's the key for however long you're staying here for. So,
well, I'll pick that apart with the Westwood thing to start. Yeah, I said on stream that you can't blame Westwood for that, but it would be remiss of me not to say that I wasn't slagging Cameron Dawson off for the same things for a little while. But the reason I'm willing to give Westwood the benefit of the doubt is Dawson were doing it about 3 times a game, punching it right back into danger. That's the first time Westwood's come back in and he's done it once. And other than that, he's not had much to do and he's been quite solid.
I also think that's the first ever time I've actually seen Westwood punch a ball. He normally catches them anyway.
Yeah, I know. That's a bit weird. It was a bit weird to see that anyway, because he's the master of he'll palm it, but he'll collect it, and he likes to sit on it. That's jury's out on Westwood. I think if anyone's giving him stick after one match today and they're saying he's clearly not what he was, that wasn't a performance to do that. I think he did very well towards the end of the match, specifically closing down that challenge that was pretty much one-on-one, and I think he should have buried it underneath Westwood, but the closing down and the link up with Borna, I think that was a better one there.
The interesting thing with Westwood was how scared the defence looked every time he opened his mouth. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely think that should be the thing, but it's so nice to see our back four go, oh, there's a big scary man behind us. We're going to do what we're told.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think with the Asian experience, it's a bit, because I think, is Wildsmith my age or a little bit younger?
How old are you?
Do I want to, how old's Wildsmith?
I think he's 25.
Yeah. So Wildsmith's my age, and he is not commanding that line, is he? He's not really commanding it as much as sort of what's Westwood now, 36.
Yeah,
so I reckon
36.
Exactly. So you've got the age on his side there in terms of the experience, and all the team's going to listen to him. Not just that, the fact that you do need older players in squads, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason that goalkeepers are usually older, because they've read the game, they've made the mistakes while they're younger. I am not saying that Wildsmith and Dawson won't go on to be top keepers in their own regard. They just might hit their peak when they're sort of 28 upwards.
That's the thing. Most keepers hit their peak at 28, 29.
Yeah.
That's where they hit it. We're expecting a lot of 2 young goalkeepers. Let's be fair. If we were a club that was actually quite clever with how we loan players out, they both would have been out on loan years ago. But because of how we are, we just kept them in the under-23s. And under 23s are it's not the same as going to League One and having a big 36-year-old come at you and try to kick your head off while you've got the ball then the under-23 just going, oh, there you go, there's the ball. It's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the thing as well. People might say that, oh, well, Westwood's been training with the under-23s for the past month or so. That's exactly what Punk was just saying there. You can relate that to that as well. There's not the intensity there. Yeah. There's not the fact that this Preston team are going to come and they need a result at home, right? And let's be honest, neither side was good today. No. You know,
and I'm not neutral watching that. You wouldn't have wanted to pay money for it.
That is a typical match that you'd usually, if the red card wasn't involved, you'd be watching it as like, this is a 0-0. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it's one of those where you're just like, oh, why have they put this one on like the Saturday football or the Friday night football or something? Like, why are Coventry on Friday night football like every week at the minute, by the way?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
It is in my head, and it's even worse because I've got family in Coventry and they go, oh, look where we are in the table. And I'm like, oh, I know, be quiet.
But yeah, anyway, it was one of those where I want to move on from the Westwood talk because it's not fair on him. I will judge him after a couple more matches, but I am actually happy he's back in the squad. I don't think he necessarily had a bad game today. I just think it was one mistake that can happen in a game like that where there's nothing in it. Is it true we had no shots on target? I've not double-checked this, but I'm hearing we had no shots on target.
I watched that game and I can't count one that was on target. I don't think their keeper had anything to do today. Their keeper could have had a deck chair and just gone, you're right, lads.
Yeah, no. And Westwood had a couple of things to do, and he did most of them well. It was just that he probably had about 3 things to do, and one of them didn't go so well. And that was.
And to be fair, there's not a lot he could have done about it anyway. It just came back at him while he was already like trying to reposition himself. The ball was in the back of the net.
No, exactly. And I said this on stream. I don't think a lot of people picked up on this that he did have a towering striker jump right next to him, that if he is not getting that, the ball is going straight to that striker and it's in. So he has to get something on that or it's in anyway. So the only thing I think he could have done is aim it a little bit better. But if you aim it, you also end up running the risk of punching the striker out next to you.
But it's also one, could he shoved somebody on the line? Could one of our defenders been smart enough to just quickly get on that line knowing that shot was coming in? So that's something we don't have in the defense, where we don't have that mindset where they know danger coming in, if that makes sense. The danger aspect, it's not there yet. It will. Pulis will drill that into them. You can already tell when they were doing the warm-ups and when the game was about to start, especially Borna and Westwood. There was a bit where they were talking and then Westwood smacked him on the head and like put his face, cupped him like Mafia Don and went, you're going to do this today. And you saw Borna just go, yes, I will. And it's something like that you're missing.
Well, yeah, because also Borna looked shaky at the start of this season, and it was like he was missing an experienced guide, because he's a great I think he's going to be a vocal leader in future, but I think he's that type of defender. He reminds me of that, but he's not that at the minute. But he's got that in his I think he'll add that to his game and he'll develop. But this is another thing I'm saying. This comment I've pulled up here from Emily Ballard saying, why is there so much focus on Westwood? As we said, we are going to move on from the Westwood thing in a minute. If the defenders do the job and block the volley, then no one bats an eyelid on Kieran. I understand that with the volley. The thing is, I feel for Reach and Westwood in that, because Reach was behind the player and it's going to look like it's his mistake there because he has to track it. If he could have been a little bit more alive to it, he could probably have got his foot round, but he was always running backwards. But then you've got to think, go on.
Can I just point in, isn't that the same argument you have for Dawson and Wildsmith? In one sense, they've got to be doing their job as well. Dawson possibly less so because he just parried the ball all the time. But especially with Wildsmith, they surely got to be the same thing. The defenders have got to be doing the same thing.
No, exactly. It's the defense is there. The defense I think we'll start to see a bit more cohesion with a vocal leader in Westwood. I hope he doesn't sort of panic and revert to somebody like trying Wildsmith or that out now. If you were going to play Wildsmith, for me, it was today. You put him in today and you give him another couple of chances. For me, Dawson's done this season. Sorry, mate.
I think Dawson's out the door. I think he's out the door in January.
That would be a bold one, that one. But yeah, I think it was one of those where I like him because obviously Wednesday fan, all that. But I think we've got too many keepers vying for it this season. We'll have to see what happens to Westwood. It's one loss. But this is a thing. We had 25% possession. I saw that for quite a lot of it. I did see the stat. I don't think it was all the way through the game, but 75% possession for spells of it with Preston.
That is the typical Pulis side, though. They don't have a lot of the ball. The problem Pulis is missing for us as a team, and it goes down to this. Pulis, wherever he's gone, he's had pacey people to have a counter-attack with. We have zero pace in that dive.
I mean, Peter Crouch, pace machine, mate. Absolute pace machine. Obviously, I'm being facetious there, but no, he has had the players to play off the big man. So he's always had the pacey players to run around and do the job. And he even said it. He said it in his press conference. And when he was saying that in his press conference, I was like, right, okay, you're telling me what you've done at these clubs and how you've had success with these players. Where are they in our side? Because I don't see them. I don't see the pacey players that are going to play off, the pacey striker that's going to play off the big man. Do you know what I mean?
It's a problem and a kind of blessing for us. Monk had taken over a Gary Monk team before and knows how to dismantle it and build it how he wants.
Yeah. Was it? Where did he come in? Pulis. It was Middlesbrough, yeah. And then the Middlesbrough fans are the ones that aren't too thankful for him, as well as West Brom fans. But what I heard from
Stoke fan, they're like, he's God.
No, exactly. Yeah. Well, if you look at what they did, look at where Stoke are now, and Stoke probably experienced their best years under Pulis. So I think we've not. I don't want to make this too much of a sort of like a negative thing, because obviously after a loss, you're going to come in and there's going to be a lot of people wanting you just to slag off the team. I'm not happy with today. We'll get onto that a little bit more and more in a minute. But Pulis overall, I can't really say much other than I said in my video. I do want to ask, we'll sidetrack here. We'll talk about Pulis now, and then we'll go back to what I wasn't happy with today. We'll just flit about a little bit. I said everything in my video. You did a bit of a video on Pulis as well. But what's your overall feeling on Pulis being Wednesday manager? What do you think the system is? What do you think should work?
On the appointment itself, it's one of those ones where you look at it and you think he's the right man for the right time right now. We are in a relegation. Right? We need someone who knows how to organise, and we know it's not going to be sexy football. It's going to be boring football.
It was awful.
The one thing you get from Tony Pulis' size, they win, and they win ugly. When was the last time we won ugly? It's been a long, long time.
I'll be honest, we could have probably done that today if we'd not got that red card. And yet again, we're talking about the Windass red card. You know, Pulis doesn't have any control over that. Pulling up comments again. I love when relevant comments come in and we can actually talk about them as well when they link into things. So keep doing that, guys. We'll feature your comments if they're relevant to the current chat. The Windass red card was the turning point for us today. When we saw, I didn't actually think it was going to be given initially because there didn't seem to be a big thing about it. And then
when I saw it at speed, I was like, that's never red. And then you're looking through, and then I kept on sending you stuff, and I found that clear as day picture. It's like, oh, he stamped on his chest from a height. Yeah, that's red.
No, exactly. I probably looked like an idiot to start because I was like, that's really soft, that is. Because from speed, it looks soft. And from the angles that I showed initially, it looked soft. It looked like, oh, right, okay, he's kneading. But when you actually look at the stud, I said he's not got studs up. But then I looked at those photos from the other angle that we didn't see initially. And yes, the studs are in his chest. It's rash. And it's cost us that one.
Who was the Holland player back in the day who did a kung fu tackle? It was like that in a sense. I can't remember who it was.
I can't even remember, mate. It was not good. I reckon it could be one of those that, is it an immediate one match ban?
I think it's one match ban.
But then I think I reckon it'll be one of those that gets extended to 3 once it's reviewed because of the studs in the chest. I reckon we ain't got Windass for 3 fixtures. So we ain't got it for Swansea and Stoke. I don't know who we're playing after Stoke.
Really like us very much, let's be honest. That being said, the EFL don't really like us that much. But that's true. They did let us have Westwood back, which is interesting.
Yeah, they let us re-register Westwood. Monk said it's something that we couldn't do until January, at least if we wanted him, but the EFL seem to have done that. I don't think they're too funny about re-registering players that have already been easily registered. I think it's just a paperwork thing for them.
Yeah. What did you make of Pulis' press conference? Because I found it quite honest, and I liked a lot of what he said, and I thought when he was giving his answers, we've actually got someone who's going to give it how it is. And tell us how it is. We're not going to get the press conference at the end where they go, well, we did really well here. And we've been watching. What game were you watching? I think you'll get an honest assessment from him. And the one thing that got me, you got all the questions, and fair play for him to do. I think it was a 1 hour 50 he was on for. It was a long old slog of interviews. But the one thing that I liked, he didn't back down from a question. He actually came out with it. And one of the questions he have, like, you're seen as the person who fights relegation and stuff. And his response was, no one ever talks about my successes. I've done this. No. Lists on, he goes, they all just remember I've never been relegated. I have one thing, lads. I have done stuff. And if he gets what he wants and he gets that relationship with the chairman, which he can have at other clubs, he got a chance. Yeah. What was that? The only issue was when he got asked what length his contract is. Now, there's rumours going around it till the end of the season, and then there's rumours that it's a 2-year deal. Now, if it's till the end of the season, we're going to be back to square one, and then he's not going to be able to set something up. Somebody else is going to set another team up. So I don't know what you thought about the press conference.
I think he knew exactly what he was doing in that press conference, and that's one of the things where, like, I might get some stick for that, but it's one of those where I knew he was molding the fans like putty in his hands. He knew exactly what to say. He knew exactly what a situation. He'd clearly been researching what situation we're in. He did his press conference. He spoke very well. He seemed very likable, but he also said exactly the right things. Westwood, big thing that fans are saying. If you're trying to pull all the fan base back together, you say your style, you talk about your successes. He knew people were going to come in for boring football, so he counters that. You know, he's straight on that. He looks to work on that, and he looks to go, right, how can I spin this? Look at this. He spanned that press conference perfectly, and he did.
Old hand though at this, let's be honest.
No, exactly. But it's also a case of, I think he was sort of saying, I think he's going to struggle to have the relationship with Chansiri that he wants, because I get the vibe that he wouldn't be Chansiri's top choice. And if you heard his wording, even in the press conference with Pulis, he was like, Pulis is the manager for this time. And I know that might be a translation thing, but I'm like, okay, so you're not even fully convinced by this at the minute. Like, and I think like there is that sort of dynamic where people say that the managers do sort of have disagreements and stuff with Chansiri. It's there's the stubbornness in there, there's the wrong advisors, there's all of that. I obviously think he's a man with the heart in the right place and doing what, but I also think that he's going to struggle to get that.
Did you see Pulis slip up where he said the Chansiri putting about 3 to 4 million in, and the bloke at the side was saying,
No, I didn't. I didn't pick up on that. I watched the press. Go on.
So there was a bit halfway through where he said the chairman put something like 3 to 4 million. And he sort of go, it's about that, isn't it? And I'd been told that there was someone behind the scenes going,
financial fair play. Shut up. We've literally just got our points deduction off. Can you not, Tony? Thanks, mate. Literally, we've put that on a ledger from 2004. Can you not?
Yeah,
you know. But no, I think he's going to struggle to get that sort of relationship he wants with Chansiri unless he starts delivering this end of the season. I think it's for Chansiri, it's sort of a win-win. You get him in, you stabilise the boat, and then if it doesn't go well this season, you move on. But let's talk. So that's my opinion. I think. Yeah. If he's not got a long-term contract, I think Chansiri, with the Bruce thing, he'll have all the clauses in place. He will have the manager's contracts.
There is
exactly how he wants them.
Big clause in Pulis's contract for keeping us up. He does get a big payout, apparently. There is a big clause that money Pulis will get if he keeps us up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, I want to say I have seen in the chat about Nuiu. I said I wanted Nuiu at the time, by the way. I'm not going to put. I'll tell you what. I'll quickly put it up again. I know I've shown this comment to Emily quite a while. You are doing good comments today, guys. So Emily's got like 3 good comments. The Nuiu one, I was one of the people that was saying we should have kept him on, and that's on record on YouTube because I always said we needed the plan B. Well. Yeah, exactly. I said we needed a plan B. He was a player. Actually, we'll talk about that for a little while, actually, because it's something I mentioned in the actual watch along today quite a bit. You know. And it's one of those where I thought that
we to go to Cyprus and deal him.
No, exactly. We were. We need a plan B. We had a plan B last season, and I think in the rough, if you look at Atinuiu's tenure at Sheffield Wednesday, whenever a game we had no idea, you put him on and he might just get you a goal. I think we lost to Rotherham this season.
Yep.
If you look at the goal scored against Rotherham, it was Nuiu for years.
Yeah. But you remember, it was the Preston at home where Nuiu took that goal from the corner flag and went, I'm just going to volley it. See you all, bye.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. We were crying out when we when we had the red card today, we looked like we lost all our ideas, and whatever we played at, there were still elements of the Monk side in there. We're like, do we play like Monk wanted to? Do we play like this new way that Pulis wants us to? Hoof it a little bit more, and it was like the worst of both. Once the red card kicked in,
I've got Twitter up, and all I can see is someone trying to hold Patterson'S boy bits, and it's doing my head in.
Okay, no worries. I'll carry on with this. So all that was happening was the worst of both. We got the worst of both styles today, I think, because the red card threw a spanner into the works. But Nui would come on, and some of those long balls, you can change the game a little bit, you know.
And there's nobody in this squad in terms of striker. We haven't got a hold-up striker. There isn't one. And the other thing with what Pulis said during the week when he had that press conference, he said he doesn't see Patterson as a striker. So that's like, where does that put Patterson now? Where does Patterson fit into? So is he going to be played as a winger? Is he going to play him as perfect example, as a right wing back? And to be fair, that's probably not a bad shout for what we might need for him, because we're not good in those positions.
What I've seen of Patterson, he ain't a striker.
No, he's not a striker.
And I've not seen enough of him, I don't think, to say that.
He was in Hearts. When he's looking at Scotland, he was going for fun. But, and no one shoot the messenger here, I have got a wife who's a diehard Celtic fan, and I will get killed when she sees this, because she will see it.
Good luck.
The Scottish Premiership and lower divisions are not that good, and most people can go for toffee in there.
Stevie May.
Yes.
I was so excited because I was like, look at the goals he's scoring for St. Johnston, and then he was...
Yeah.
Well.
I think I can take some blame for that, because I lost a bet with someone who said the next signing we get from Scotland, you got to get the name on the back of the shirt. So I did, and it was that yellow kit we had with Azerbaijan on, and I in my wardrobe, and it never gets worn. Is number 7 Stevie May in my closet, and it's haunting me.
It was an interesting one. Let's talk about this controversial incident of the. We'll try and not swear and try and use the words privates rather than things, because monetization on YouTube is out for us at the minute. So if someone grabbed bits at work, I'm sure it would end in a harassment suit.
Yes.
I'm not obviously going to show this because that would be weird. But today, in the Preston match, there was a little bit of a
Vinnie Jones
a sausage feel. We'll go with somebody going for the sausage of Patterson today, and I mean full on, as in bulge, round, hand round.
To Patterson, he didn't even blink. It was just like,
that's what I found really weird, because he just went. It was just like, it was purposely. I was like, have you lost sensation? Has there been a horrific accident? have you been hitting the wall too many times, my friend?
He's had a good time with Scotland over this last thing. He's probably still happy about stuff, so he's probably got no feeling.
A little bit sore. Yeah, no, exactly. But I would be interested to see if there's going to be any repercussions for that, because obviously Patterson didn't react and there was nothing picked up on there, but because it's on the cameras and it's everywhere, surely you can't grab a man's...
It would be very interesting to see how the reporters that from the EFL go, the person who got to type that up and go, what do I write?
Yeah, exactly.
I love to be the fly in the wall on that bit where they watch it going, well, it is, but he didn't actually react. But there's still... Yeah, but it's pay-per-view. People are paying for it. It's not on telly. It's not that kind of an issue. It is before the watershed, but yeah, kind of thing.
No, it
happens all the time though.
You're not meant to. Yeah, but you're not meant to do it.
No.
Okay, so it'd be interesting to see if the EFL are going to pick up on it. I thought it was funny, but also it's also a case of like, you can't be grabbing someone's private area. I'm sorry, I don't care about your gender. I don't care about what you do not touch where you're not supposed to touch in a football game. I don't know if it looked like he meant to do it, but also a case of you could say that maybe he just misread. He would try. I guess you could go, is he trying to touch his stomach? He'll probably go along those lines, but I'm like, that's a very low stomach, lads. You know. Different, right? Anyway, we'll move on from wing talk. Because I can see people just being like rate strange behaviour, things like that. You know, because he's got a mustache. Yeah, all sorts.
To be fair, I read somewhere that apparently he was going to go for the 80s porn stuff this year for November, and he thought,
right.
And apparently, Mrs. turned around and said she wouldn't open the door if he had that.
I mean, it's not great though, is it? Have you seen it?
It's a very good call. So let's be fair. Anyone who's willing to do that, I'm very impressed with. I religiously will not shave my beard off. This has taken me 2 years to get this. This ain't going nowhere.
No. Oh, yeah. I will actually mention, I can see somebody saying make a Discord for Wednesday nights. I'm actually making a channel Discord very soon. So all the stuff, because we talk a lot of Wednesday on Dexterity Box. So it will be a case of Punk will be in there, I'm sure. You've got no choice, mate. I don't even talk about this with you. But yeah, we'll be doing all of that. So it will be there. So just subscribe to this channel, and you will be able to keep updated, because on my community tab is where I put everything that we're going to be doing on there for the streams, all of that sort of stuff. But let's look ahead a little bit, shall we? This is the thing we've talked about, Pulis. We've talked about today. Got Swansea midweek. What are your thoughts?
Difficult team to play. On their day, they can be quite aggressive and quick. They are a quick team.
Yeah. Without Brewster this season, obviously.
Swansea are fourth at the minute, and they're pushing it, and they're going for it. And Swansea, even without Brewster, who went to the red side, and you can say
Let's forget about that bit.
But that manager, he's very underrated, and he's doing what the Brighton manager did when he was at Swansea. He's making a name for himself. And if Swansea don't go up this season, he'll be gone. Someone will snap him up in the Premiership, and he'll do well. I think it's a case of see what Tony's going to pick, see who fits, see what might come into it, because we can't play this system we play today. I don't think.
Chat, how do you think we're going to play against... I'm just going to ask the chat, sorry. How do you think we're going to play against Swansea? How we're going to set up? How do you think we'll set up, Punk? I'll ask you as well.
Personally, I'd like to go 4-4-2. Just to...
Oh, right, okay.
But I doubt it will happen. Because Tony Pulis doesn't send to set... He sends to... I can't speak. There we go. Thank you very much. He tends to set teams up as quite defensively and then have an attack, like a counter-attack. But he doesn't have the players for that at the moment. So I think it's going to be working out what works best for him. It's like when we were having the formation chat with Caboodlefish. It's like, yes, they did have it in this game where they were 4 at the back, but I think they're so used to playing 3 at the back at the minute, they just naturally go back into it. I think a flat back 4 would be nice. I'd like to see Penny next game. I'd like to see Penny from the start and Kachunga. I think this game actually was more made for Kachunga with his pace. If Kachunga could have got on and got running at them, and actually,
no, I agree. I was surprised he was left on the bench.
He could have actually changed. I thought Kachunga could have been the better person to come on than Brown.
Have Swansea got Ayew at the minute? Because they didn't start today and he wasn't on the bench.
Let me have a look.
I don't know if they have. If there's a thing with Ayew, then that's a benefit for Wednesday. They did. I saw somebody said they lost to Rotherham. They didn't. They beat them 1-0. So a lot of people are saying also it's impossible to judge Pulis on that. I won't read actually the tweet I've got there because that'll demonetize us. But people not too happy with the players again. It's all coming back to the players. What do people in the chat feel about the current crop of players? Because for me, it is still that mentality. I do feel like we've not got the
head coach has said he played down long-term injury concerned over striker Andrew Ayew, so he's obviously out.
Yeah, perfect. Well, they beat Rotherham today, but the less of their quality players they have got, the better looking it is going to be for us midweek. So we're not going to. You'll be covering it. Punk covers does the he does pre-match, post-match.
I do pre-match, and I may, depending on what my childcare situation, I may try and do a live stream of it, but don't hold me. That changes.
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's the thing. Well, I'll always do the weekend matches. I'll sometimes do the midweek matches. But it's one of those that where the post show is going to be at least once a week. We're trying to do that now. Also, if you want anybody from opposition fans on this, please tweet at them and tag me at Dexterity Box, and we'll try and get them in here so we can have different people. But yeah, I can see a lot of people agreeing with you, giving Kachunga a chance up front.
It would have been nice. I think the only thing I read a stat earlier, and it's just come up with the disciplinary part from. So we have now got 4 red cards, 25% of them out of the 24 teams in the championship are ours. And we got more cards. The only team in the Football League who got more cards than us is Blackpool. And they've had a hell of a lot this season. I know a Blackpool fan. And he said, we feel like we're going to have a red card every game. And so far, we're getting to that point now.
No, we are. No, it's getting... Oh, God, right. Okay. Can I just tell you this, right? Like, I'm looking at our fixtures, right? And I can just see a sea of red. So today, then Bournemouth, then Rotherham, then Luton. And that is 4 out of the last 6 we've had a red card.
Jesus.
4 out of the last 6. And we've got Stoke next weekend. That's probably going to be a physical one.
How does he fix that? No.
I don't know. Tell the players to defend, not wipe them out and show the studs.
I don't get how you fix that, because obviously Monk's gone in there and said, I want aggression. And they've gone, yep, we can do aggression. Here's aggression. It's like, oh dear, we're getting red card, boss. What do we do? Just keep going aggressive. It's fine. Pulis still going, I don't want that kind of aggression, but there's a way. Pulis is the kind of bloke who I kind of think that would kind of go, there's a way of doing it, but not getting caught. You know, like the old WWE wrestling stuff.
Warnock. Warnock used to say that all the time.
Yeah.
If you watch clips of him, he used to always say, and yes, I've watched this, and no, I've not watched it because of the United link. I think Warnock's a fascinating manager despite his allegiances. It's like he always used to say that, like, he used to quite like players that were dirty.
Yeah.
But he also was like, don't be an idiot about it. You've got to do it and take people out and get away with it. If you don't get away with it, I'm going to be angry at you.
It's actually quite interesting. I've read it before, and it's very interesting. He has those kind of players. He used to say Michael Brown was that player. Michael Brown was the expert at knowing how to do a dirty tackle, but not letting the referee see.
I reckon Borna could be turned to it. I'm not going to swear, but a right nasty get. I reckon because the way he challenges, he reads the game so well. If you turned him into the one, let Aorfa do the bullying off the ball stuff and the nice playing out of the back, and then let Borna come in like a hutch, like a steam train.
Well, you know what the problem with that is, though, don't you? Borna probably will celebrate it because he likes celebrating when he's done a good tackle or a block. Like, oh, referee here. No, you're right, mate.
No, exactly. Well, that's the thing. He's also a massive team player, and we've got a lot of those in there. And people give Pelopessi stick. Pelopessi had a few solid games for us.
He's had a couple of great games recently.
He is, and I think it was a wise decision. If I look at it objectively, like taking him off, Luongo off for him after 60 minutes after he's coming back from injury. Unfortunately, we were at the wrong time. I don't think Pelopessi is the change you made when you're chasing a game, but we had to do it because I don't want Luongo picking up a knock.
Just come back. You don't want him to overplay. It only takes him to distract. The interesting thing, actually, from that press conference was how he was saying that the soft tissue injuries need to stop. We got far too many, and it's like, it's interesting that that's been said, because that's been an issue at Wednesday for a while. It's always been like hamstrings that are pinged or muscle injuries. And it makes you wonder if he's going to go to medical, it sounds like he already has actually, gone to medical staff and gone, right, what we're not doing right, or look at how we're training. Maybe it's the way they're training and it's putting too much on the actual muscles. I've always said, I think the biggest reason we get a lot of injuries is because the pitches at Middlewood are rubbish.
Well, he hasn't really updated. He updated the whole pitch, but he didn't change up the. I think a lot of it's turf still at Middlewood, as well, isn't it?
There's a lot. I think there's a lot he can't do at Middlewood due to the ground and stuff. I've heard such different stories about it.
Unfortunately, sorry, go on.
He does want to move away from Middlewood. He just can't find any land.
Well, it's not. Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's the thing, because it's also a case you've got to be careful with financial fair play as well. Because if you start chucking it all into, some of it doesn't. Some of it's not counted because they're like youth development, grassroots, all that. But some of it does pull in, and we've got to do it in the right areas. But yeah, I think looking forward, Swansea, Stoke, Reading. I can see 3 points out of that.
Yeah, so can I.
Because Reading are on fire.
Stoke are playing okay. You could possibly see Fletcher going against us as well, and Morgan would be a safe.
I reckon the momentum of Stoke, if we get a draw at Swansea, I could see us having Stoke. But Reading I'm concerned about. But Reading also, we shut them down last season. but Lucas Shaw scored against them, and now he's scoring for fun for them.
Yeah,
so that is a thing.
Reading's an interesting one, especially with Lucas Young. I saw a comment from it earlier saying, why did we sell Lucas Young? It was 7 million when we needed 7 million. At the end of the day, he was always going to be that player that we get, and he basically I always thought he'll come in, we'll get him as the raw player, and we'll make him into the player that goes on to be that player. And all those signings that we got in the past, when Karloff was coming in, it felt like some of them were meant to be for sell-on, and they just didn't kick on. I think Matthias was similar to that kind of thing. He was hoping for him to pass on, be really good, and then sell him for megabuck to a Premiership club or something, and it just didn't work. And I think when a player like Zhao, right now, a player like Zhao would be fantastic, pacey, up front, go for it. But at the end of the day, sometimes a player needs to get away. And I think this was his time to get away, because when he was here, there was talk that he wasn't happy, things weren't right. And
he only played when he wanted to.
Yeah, he was a bit like JJ back in the day, Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah, at least he put his heart in it, though. That's the thing about it. That's the difference there. But what I do have to guarantee, I'm talking out my arse, Kean, you're very right. Reading have actually slid. It's because they're 6th. I thought they were doing better than they were. They're not. They're on a downslide. But Sheffield Wednesday are that team. Preston had a win at home all season. Hello, Sheffield Wednesday. Wickham had a won in the Championship in their existence. Enter Sheffield Wednesday. Do you know what I mean?
It's the on-running joke. Like, I've seen it before where I think it was Preston last year. No, it was Blackburn. It was when we lost 5-0 to Blackburn. I remember speaking to Blackburn fans, said, "Oh, you're smash up. We've not won in ages." I said, "You're playing Sheffield Wednesday at home. We haven't won, and we're not that good at the moment." He said, "No, you're smash up." He said, "You were right. You really aren't good." I said, "Told you."
No. Well, today, let's wrap it up for today. Yep. We'll talk about Reading and stuff next post show, because I think we'll next be talking together probably the Stoke match. So after the Stoke match will be the next post show from us. Back for Dexterity Watch for Stoke on Saturday. So make sure you are here, subscribed, liked. There's memberships available, all those sort of things. We will discuss it all. Hopefully, there's a midweek win to talk about in the next post show, and then a Stoke win. But I am, after today's boring football, not a great performance from either side, but a result for Preston, I'm not too optimistic, but we shall see. Lenny, last thoughts?
So let's see what happens. I think if we can get a win against Swansea, and it's a big if we can get a big win against Swansea, it may give us that new manager bounce, but I think this new manager bounce might have to wait a while until January.
I don't think it's going to happen. To be honest, a new manager bounce is usually you win the first 3 and then it starts to go. We could have done with 3 wins. We could have done with the points, because Wednesday is still in the relegation zone. Lost against Preston. That's all for today.
We're only not bottom because Derby are worse than us.
No, exactly. Currently, which is unfortunate for Derby fans, because they obviously wanted it a lot better. But that is all for us from the post show today. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, do all those things, and keep watching right here.